And the Oscar goes to
Bong Joon-Ho.
I mean, he's a detail-oriented auteur. Like he's thought of every single aspect of every single thing in the frame.
He is very expressive in his subtle emotion in his eyes and his face, so I always knew what he wanted.
Cut. Good. Yeah.
Director Bong is a phenomenal director. All of his work is amazing. These are actors who jump on projects for the reason of, an allegiance to an artist. They're not there to make money. They're not there to do it their way. They're there to be directed. They're there to collaborate. So you see these phenomenal talents so willing to do whatever Bong asks of them. And that's how it should be. These amazing actors were acting as if it was their first film. And whatever Bong asked of them, they did. It was beautiful.
It was Bong Joon-Ho that I signed up to, and I would have signed up to anything he put my way, frankly.
I belong on the head. You belong on the foot. Yes? So it is.
I just want to, I guess the best way to synopsize this, and obviously correct me if anything is wrong that I say ever, but basically a depressed graduate student with an emasculating pregnant wife is driven crazy by a neighbor's dog who won't stop barking, and he considers extreme measures to silence that dog.
I know, it's very, very stupid black.
그러니까 모르겠어요. 제가 이제 7편의 작업을 하면서 이제 했던 그 작업들을 어떻게 일반화시켜야 될지 모르겠는데 그때그때 어떤 계기들은 있었죠. 구체적인 자극과 그러니까 모티베이션만 있었던 것 같아요. 이 영화 같은 경우는 이제 제가 초등학교 때 되게 고급스러운 아파트 단지 옥상에 이제 올라갔다가 그 죽어 있는 강아지의 되게 애완견의 시체를 본 적이 있어요. 그때 되게 충격을 받았는데 불에 살짝 끄슬려 있는 되게 큰 트라우마를 쇼킹한 거 본 거죠. 그래서 이게 누가 이런 짓을 했을까를 생각하다가 막 이제 여러 가지 스토리를 어린 나이에 떠올렸는데 그것이 나중에 이제 이 처음 데뷔작 찍을 때 많이 다시 떠오르면서 쓰게 되는 것이긴 하거든요. 네. 그리고 좀 전에 화면에서 봤던 그 아파트는 제가 이제 그 결혼해서 처음 신혼초에 살던 아파트예요. 저의 생활에 여러 가지 디테일들이 많이 들어가 있어요. 그 쓰레기 분리수거하는 것부터 해서. 네. 그리고 저희 형이 그 당시 석사 박사 과정을 한 후 교수가 되지 못해서 되게 오랫동안 고생하고 있었는데 그 주인공의 모습과 비슷하죠. 네. 지금 제가 말한 이 세 가지를 합쳐지면 이미 영화가 시작되고 있거든요. 네.
The motive for creating this film was I have a young son, 13, 14-year-old son, and watching relationship with my wife, seeing the mother and son relationship, because there's something very powerful and instinctual about that. And that was where I got some of the inspiration. It's not like my son committed murder, but just seeing the relationship between a mother and a son, it's so much more powerful than just say compared to a father and a daughter. Because a mother is carrying a child in the womb for 9 months, there's some kind of animalistic connection between a mother and a son, and that's something very raw. And at the same time, there's moments where even a human being can turn into almost like a beast when something bothers that relationship between a mother and a son. And just like how lions and tigers, they suddenly claw at somebody who tries to get at their young ones. There's something about that exists even in human beings, so I wanted to explore that. If you look at most of the characters in this film, they're all people who are on the lower rung of society. They're people who can't get the help of the system and the society and the government. So even people like the police and the lawyers, they're not able to help these people. And so you see these kind of underdog kind of characters, and these are the characters that affect me most deeply, and I wanted to tell stories about people in these kind of situations. Just growing up, I watched a lot of genre movies, and I was very accustomed and familiar with different genre conventions just naturally. So when I write these stories, they kind of naturally go in the direction where, because I'm ultimately telling a movie where you're solving a crime, but at the same time, naturally, because of these characters and these situations, these stories, these different dramatic elements are going to come into it, and it's not something that I plan out where I say it's 50% crime drama, 25% comedy, 25% family drama, but it's just something that comes from going through the story and writing it. Basically, what he wanted to do for the audience was kind of put them in a very subjective perspective, to put them to see the situation through the main actress's eyes. I spoke earlier about the animalistic instinct that comes from being a mother, and I think that kind of comes naturally, that if a mother is put in certain situations, those instincts will come out, and that's something that I discussed with my actress as well.
That kind of instinct is beyond, far beyond human morality or ethic, 도덕적인 거지.
Yeah, to
ethic dilemma.
Yeah, it's not a moral dilemma.
When I was on set with John Hurt, on set of Snowpiercer, John Hurt, sometimes he said, yeah, Bong, you're Hitchcockian. You never shared the coverage, and your storyboard is quite solid. So many Alfred Hitchcock movie, I watched it from Korean TV stations, and when I was a little kid, a little bit censored maybe, but it was so fascinating. And the other one is the Zodiac by the David Fincher. That movie is also has a slow tempo, and also very realistic mood, as something like a periodic piece kind of feeling, based on from 1960s to 70s. Of course, based on true case, like Memories of Murder. 별 생각은 없어요. 사실 지금도 새로운 작품의 스크립트를 시나리오 쓰고 있으니까 그런 것에 파묻혀서. 근데 영화가 내 손을 떠난 지는 점점 나와 영화의 거리는 점점 멀어져 가는데, 가끔 TV나 이런 데서 해줄 때가 있는데 보면은 뭐지? 약간 다른 사람의 영화 같기도 하고 묘한 느낌. Yeah, it's long time ago. 연쇄살인, 그러니까 어릴 때부터 범죄 드라마를 좋아했었는데 정말 허리우드 영화와는 다른 되게 한국적인 크라임 드라마를, 범죄 영화를 만들고 싶은 욕구가 있었고, 그러다가 이제 화성 연쇄살인 사건이라는 내가 고등학교, 대학교 때 실제 그 시기를 살았었는데, the very first day, very first shot, maybe you already know, it was the moment of Song Kang-ho flies and drop kick the Kim Sang-kyung.
Yeah.
Of course, Kim Sang-kyung was, for him, it's a slightly traumatic experience because he never know what was going to happen. But actually, me and Song Kang-ho and everyone, we never said, we never planned, and we just keep talking. Yeah, let's do it. But maybe location is quite stiff. Yeah, it looks quite dangerous. But yeah, maybe we need some realistic something. And then suddenly, in the very first take, suddenly Song Kang-ho flies.
돈바치냐? 여기 강간의 왕국이야? 그러니까 이리 와 있어. 야, 자기야, 너 뭐야? 야, 자기야, 너 뭐야? 나와 이 새끼야. 아저씨, 야, 씨발새! 아니 피해자 같이 가야 된다니까.
The cinematographer Kim Hyung-gu, he didn't turn off the switch of camera, and he surprised, but very smoothly he followed. Everything happened. It's some kind of momentary documentary kind of feeling. Song Kang-ho just did it, and then DP Kim Hyung-gu just followed them, and almost everything improvised. And then I shot cut and okay.
그리고 갈대밭에 숨어서 여자가 지나가길 기다려. 피까지 흠뻑 맞으면서. 그래도 너한텐 그 모든 게 즐겁지. 짜릿하고 즐겁지. 그래서 어제는 여자 몸에 이런 걸 쑤셨어.
For me, the most important question to myself is why we, not only detective, we, all of us, failed to catch the murderer. That was the very basic, simple but basic, the crucial questions. Why? Why we failed? I really wanted to find out the right answer. So actually at that time, my conclusion was it's not because of some detectives are so foolish or not because of the killer is such a genius. I think that the conclusion was but because it was 1980s. The limit and the darkness of the era, the age itself is the reason of we failed. It's some kind of eye contact between killer and the Song Kang-ho in the frame. So I asked him, please watch in the middle of the lens camera. And at the time, DP Kim Hyung-gu was very nervous. Oh, this is very, this is too much, and I'm nervous. But it's okay. So just watch the camera. And Song Kang-ho watched the camera with great facial expressions.
옥자야!
So one day I was driving and it was a very foggy gray day in Seoul, and I saw a huge pig the size of a house looking very depressed under a freeway. So I was very captivated by that image. With the host as well, when I was in high school, I thought I saw a very strange creature dangling from the Han River Bridge. And similarly, Okja began with my obsession for this one image, and I kept wondering why the pig was so big. And then I thought of the food industry's cruel perspective on animals, where they view these creatures not as living things, but as food products. And of course, for them, size is directly tied to product value. And then I ended up thinking about why the pig looked so sad and depressed, and repeatedly thinking about this led me to this very strange story of Okja.
그런 민족과 문화의 경계선이 늘 그다지 의식할 필요 없는 영화를 그냥 자연스럽게 만들고 싶었고 그렇게 했던 것 같아요. 작가, 감독이면서 쓰는 사람들은 다 비슷할 거예요. 이미 이미지랑 사운드가 있는 채로 하니까. 그리고 어떻게 찍어야 될지도 상당히 고민이 동시에 진행되면서 쓰니까 다 있죠, 이미. 예. 스크린플레이 쓸 때. 예. 그러니까 디제스터에 관한 얘기예요, 사실 저 부분은, 순간적으로. 작은 재앙과 큰 재앙에 대한 얘기죠. 그 집이 매점 키오스크 하는 이제 가족인데 이제 그 맥주를 신경질 나서 발로 뻥 찼단 말이에요. 거기서 이제 그게 픽 새 나오니까 이제 그 팔 수 없는 맥주 캔이 되는 거 아니에요. 그 자체 아주 작은 재앙이죠. 그러나 바로 그 1초 후에 엄청난 재앙, 진짜 재앙이 오는 거죠. 그 콘트라스트가 있는 건데 그 패턴이 아마 이제 영화 후반부 쪽에 이제 그 괴물 은신처, 그러니까 후반부에서도 반복되는 어떤 지점이 있어요. 그리고 보통 괴물 영화에서는 괴물이 사람을 죽이잖아요. 또는 잡아먹는다고 해야 되나? 근데 이제 꼬리에 묶어서 데려가잖아요. 그게 사실 어떻게 보면 되게 결정적인 부분인데 이 영화 전체의 플롯을 이제 다르게 만드는. 그러니까 이 영화 사실은 몬스터 영화의 외양을 하고 있지만 사실은 이제 키드내핑, 그러니까 유괴 영화인 거죠. 유괴 영화의 플롯을 갖고 있어요. 근데 유괴범이 괴물인 거지. 그래서 잡혀간 딸내미를 구하러 가게 되는 이제 그런 전체 플롯이 형성되는 게 이제 바로 보신 그 모멘트죠. 그래서 이제 죽은 줄 알았던 딸로부터 이제 핸드폰이 걸려오는 거거든요. 한 10분 후에. 거기서 이제 플롯이 이제 본격적으로 물결을 타기 시작하는 거예요.
장르에 대해서 이제 복합적인 감정이 있죠. 어릴 때부터 장르 영화를 보면서 자랐고, 미국 장르 영화들은 장르가 이제 피 속의 혈관에 그 세포처럼 흐르고 있고, 동시에 또 장르를 거부하고 싶은, 장르 컨벤션을 또 부서뜨리고 싶은 마음도 있고, 그 두 개가 뒤엉키면서 그 이제 뒤엉키는 그 소용돌이 속에서 여러 가지 장르를 실험해 보게 되는 것 같아요. 한여는 뭐 멜로드라마이면서 또 크라임 드라마, 범죄 드라마이기도 하고, 범죄 멜로드라마고 여성들의 섹슈얼한 어떤 욕망을 다루지만 동시에 아주 정치적이고 사회적인, 그리고 그 당시 한국 그 사회와 계급이 막 변해가던 상황들이 아주 적나라하게 잘 담겨 있는 영화라고 생각이 들어요. 그 영화의 핵심 무대가 집이잖아요. 근데 그 2층 집이 나오거든요. 그러니까 그 당시 어떤 부자나 중상류층의 상징인데 2층 집에 산다는 건 2층 집에만 계단이 있죠. 1층 집엔 계단이 있을 수가 없죠. 근데 이 영화는 정말 1시간 반 내내 정말 계단이 많이 나오거든요. 인물들 못지않게 계단이 영화의 거의 주인공에 가까운 영화인데 그 계단이 가지는 상징적인 의미, 그리고 중상류층으로 이제 발돋움을 하려는 부부와 그런 단꿈에 젖어 있는 부부 사이에 또 괴물처럼 나타나서 그 집안을 완전히 풍지박산 내버리는 하녀의 존재.
In Korea, directors like me and Park Chan-wook are very in privileged conditions. I think if it were a new director with the same script, he would have received more pressure from the studios, operative. So in Korea, we have what's called take different approaches, but this on-set editing is very helpful because it allows.
So it was a French graphic novel, and the key is when and where he discovered the property, and it was in 2005 in a bookstore in Korea, and he just got really into it, and it's about a moving, the last survivors on the earth inside of a moving train, and that was the basic idea, and he took that and went through a complicated writing process to turn it into a script.
I'm quite regular. I'm the big comic book fan, graphic novel collector, so I regularly visit my favorite comic book shop. It was there, and I just wow, it's train something, and so I love train, and so 그 자리에서 다 읽고 결심했지.
So he read it from start to finish, standing there in the bookstore, and he decided to make a film.
서점 나올 때 결심하고 이거 영화로 하고 싶다.
As he was walking out the door, he said, "Oh, I have to make this a film."
the aquarium section, the whole aquarium is all by VFX. Actually, on sound stage there was nothing, but the method, they did a great job on the aquarium, whole the glasses and waters and every fishes and everything inside is all by computer graphics. So.
왜냐하면 우리가 하나의 나라에서 살고 있다, 지금 하나의 거대한 나라, 자본주의라는 나라인 거죠. 그래서
Bong Joon-ho is a true genius. Certainly one of the best movie directors working today. Sharing a mashup of his thought process as a filmmaker seemed like a no-brainer. Obviously, we do not own any of this footage or interviews. You can find the link to some of the interviews we used in the description in case you want more. Those we got from the DVD commentary tracks will be specified at the end of this video. And of course, if you enjoyed this, let us know. Follow FFE on Twitter. We just started being active on there. And you can find us on Reddit as well. As for me, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.